Hey everybody, I wanted to come back and do another tutorial on Cricut Design Space. Somebody asked me how I would create a project, a layered project that was bigger than the 12 by 12 mat. So I wanted to show you guys how I would do it, and this will work for most projects, and I wanted to just use this one that I was doing last time because it has some nice layers and it'll be pretty easy to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new project. So that's that button up in the corner there. And I am going to... Oof, this mouse does not work very well. But I'm going to upload and start by uploading an image. And I'm just going to go to Browse, and that should bring me to where I can find my image, maybe. Bat Kitty, there she is. Okay, and like we did before, we're going to go to Moderately Complex. That's right here, and that gives us a good amount of detail on here without it getting too grainy with simple or just overdone with complex. So we'll hit Moderately Complex, and Continue is down here. And then we are going to use our magic wand tool, and we're just going to erase the background first. And I'll use the preview down here and show you what that's going to look like. So we'll have all of this, and this isn't going to be what you will end up printing on your vinyl. This is going to just be a guide for us. So we will need this, and it'll be important, and you'll kind of catch on to why in a little bit. So I'm just going to continue and save as a cut. You can rename it if you want to find it in the future. Now I'll click on it, and then over there I'll hit Insert Image, and that'll bring it in here, and I'll go ahead and decide how big I want that. So the height is usually what I go for. I kind of touched on that in the last video. You want to know what your maximum height and your maximum width is, and then go with whichever one comes first. So we'll say the maximum height is going to be 18 inches, and I'll put that in, and then I can zoom out right here. You can barely see it, but once you put the cursor over top of it, you can see down here in the bottom left corner, you can zoom in and out. So I will zoom out until it fills it up nicely, and I can work with this size. Okay, so as you can see, the height is now 18 inches, the width is 21.362. So whichever size fits into your project, you want to go with that. So if your width is only 18 inches, you want to lower this down to 18 inches, and then let this kind of snap to whatever it's going to be so that it'll be the correct size and it won't distort the image. And like I said, this is just going to be a guide to what we're doing next. So we'll go back in to this sidebar here and hit Upload again, and just do the same thing. Upload image, and we will find our Bat Kitty right here. Okay, Moderately Complex, and then go down to Continue in the bottom right corner. And what we're going to do next is we are going to just grab a piece of this at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the white areas of just the head. So I'll get this eraser magic wand, select and erase tool, and I'll get rid of the background, the stars, anything that's not just this white part of the head. And we are going to leave the line work in and around the head as best we can as well. And I'll show you what I mean in a second here. So now that we just have the white part of the head, I'm going to use this eraser here, and I can zoom in quite a bit and start right here. And what I'm going to do is just erase as close as I can and as smoothly as I can any parts that aren't going to be outlining just the white part. And I will do that to the other ear, and then I'm going to do that to this part of the bow and the collar. And you can just kind of place this eraser circle as close as you can get it to be lined up correctly, and then just click it. And then let me make sure I've disconnected all of the line work as best I can from the rest of the body and the wings and the bow and everything. I'll use my magic tool, and now I can, let me zoom out just a bit. Now I can click on this part, and for the most part it's gonna just be a head. I do have to clean this up. I'll use the eraser tool and just go around and make sure I get all of these lines. So I'm gonna pause the video and just go ahead and erase everything from here down. Okay, as you can see, it is now just a floating head. And as always, check your preview. And because see down here, these two little dots, that will actually end up throwing off everything. So I'm gonna make sure I delete or erase all of the little extra pieces, preview again, and just really check and make sure I got all of that and it's all erased. And great. So just a floating head, and we will continue from here. Save that as a cut image. Hit save. That'll go into your recently uploaded, and you click on it and go ahead and insert image, which is that button right down here in your bottom right corner. So that's going to end up right there, and I'm going to go ahead and change the color. Doesn't really matter which color it ends up being. If it'll let me. There we go. So I'll just make it a light gray, since that is going to end up being our background, and we want all of the background pieces to be the same. But not this one, because this one's going to end up being deleted before we go to the make it and cut it portion of this. So now you can see I want to just go ahead and expand this, and I'm going to have to eyeball it to get it right into that spot. You want to see that all of these outer lines match up perfectly. So I'll just keep kind of expanding and adjusting it till I get it right where I think it's supposed to be. And if you're off by a hair, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. That is just a bit too small. Just kind of take it easy, take it slow. Woo-saw. Okay. So there you can see it is pretty much exactly on the lines there. I think if I bump it up just a bit, I think that is as close as I'm going to get it. Okay. So now we have the background of the face. And again, we'll go into upload. And we'll upload the same image again with moderately complex as our image type. Continue. And now we're going to erase everything except for the white in that head. So absolutely all of this, the lines around it, the background, the black inside, everything that is not going to be part of the white. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here. I have to go ahead and clean up all of these extra lines that are just hanging around. I'll just go ahead and use my eraser tool and get rid of all of this, and then be back in a second. Okay, and this is what we are left with, just the white. and no outline or anything. I know there's like a really thin black line, but that's not going to show up in your final piece, so don't worry about that. But I just used the eraser tool and cleaned up everything around it. As always, we want to preview. Looks great, so we can continue. Save as cut. And we'll click on it. Oh. And insert it, and that'll show up here. So I am going to change that into the white, and we'll move it on top and then try and get that to line up with everything. And it's going to be a little bit smaller than the last layer we did because it's got to have that line work on the outside, so that you can have your outline when you layer these. So I think that looks really, really good right there. So I'm gonna leave it like that. And what I can also do, I'm gonna take this background, and over here where you see all of your layers, these little eyeballs help you hide ones. So if you wanna ever just check without that big blocky background there, you can hide it and kind of get a good look at it without that there. Okay, so I think you can kind of see where I'm going with this, but I'll keep going and just finish this image out. And we'll get our Bat Kitty in again. Moderately complex, continue. And let's take her bow next, and we will just grab the pieces that we didn't get in the last one. But you have to be pretty careful with this. So we'll get rid of anything. Oh, I accidentally deleted the whole outline. Let me undo that. Let me get anything out of here that is not related to the bow. And now I'm gonna zoom in real close to the bow. And we got this top line here in the last one. Okay, everything that was touching the white of the cat face, we can go ahead and remove. So you kind of have to think about where you've been already. We'll start just kind of cutting it down, making it a little easier on ourselves. Just kind of little by little, round it out. Okay, looking good so far. And it helps if you work from the top down. So we got rid of pretty much that bottom part. We'll get rid of the head. And then now we have to work on this top line. So we're going to, zoom in with our eraser tool, just kind of try and break it from the rest of the black. So like right about there. I have to make my eraser smaller and get into this area, just kind of like that. And let's break the top of the heart away from this. And same thing with the other side. And just take it slow. Take it easy on this one. You know, find your zen, find your peace of mind. Take your time. Try and enjoy it. Otherwise you'll absolutely hate this really quickly. Okay, so now that we've broken it, we can just get rid of the majority of that top. And like we always have to do, go in with our eraser tool and clean it up. And this is what you should be left with, just the bow without that top line, because that is already part of the head, so we didn't need that top line. Continue, save as cut, save. Click on it and insert image. like that second layer we did, let's change it to this dark gray so we can see it on our, on our black background here that we've created. And just kind of size it, get it to kind of snap in there as best you can. And it looks a little big, and just play with it. Okay, that looks pretty perfect to me right there. So we've got the background of the bow, and now we will do just the color of the bow. So we'll upload again. Okay. And this one should go pretty quick. With our magic tool, we can just get everything that isn't just that dark pink part of the bow. There we are. We can now preview. Oh, I left 2 spots. Okay. So let me just make sure those are gone. Perfect. And let's throw this on top. Save as a cut. Save. And we will insert that. Okay, let's change it to kind of a pink color. And, oops. See how that fits. A little bit bigger, I believe. I think we went a little too big. Yeah. Yeah, but it should fit snugly right in there. You want to remember this line here, even though it's attached to the head, it needs to be lined up with the top of the bow color. Okay, and that looks really good. So I hope you guys can kind of understand where I'm going at here, and you can break this down into really small pieces, as small as you feel like you can possibly make it. But you do want to think about how at the very end you are going to have to piece this together. So if you make too many random pieces, like if I divided this bow into these little neck pieces and each little part of the bow, it's going to be a lot harder for me to size these correctly into design space, and then after it's cut, it's also going to be hard for me to line them up once they're cut into vinyl, because I'm going to have to sit there and make sure that it's lined up perfectly, and if I accidentally drop it before it's ready and it sticks and I can't move it, that's going to suck a lot. But you kind of get where I'm going with this. I think I will just go ahead and hide this big background piece. Maybe, if it'll let me. Hide that. There we go. And you can see what we've done here. We've created 4 pieces that should snugly fit together. If I go to the Make It, and now you can see this first one is just the background of the face, and then you have the background of the bow, so you can put black vinyl onto your mats and get a nice black background, and that'll show through as an outline. And then it shows you the white face, so you'll put your white vinyl there, get that cut, and then layer that on top of your black vinyl, and just like that. you will have your pink bow. You'll layer that on top of your black vinyl where the bow goes. And just keep doing this with each part of your character or design. And just remember to change the colors. Even if the colors don't match your vinyl perfectly, it's fine. It's not going to know the difference once you start to make that cut. Just separate the colors so that you can have the separate colors once you cut it. But yeah, now you can create really large characters. As you can see, the head alone is, let's take a look here. It's about 9.5 inches big by 10.25. So that's pretty large. You're gonna have a really large character here. And really the most important part is after you cut it, getting all of that lined up really nicely. So I suggest practicing. Maybe do this, but in a much smaller version. Maybe do it on you can go big with like a 10-inch version of this before you go big into your like 18, 20-inch version of it, so that you can kind of have practice lining up your vinyl, figuring out what works best for you, and recreating sections that didn't quite work out the first time. That way, you don't mess up the final product. You can mess up like a much smaller trial run that won't use up as much of your vinyl. So I hope you guys understood kind of what I did here, and you can kind of go from there and get the rest of your pieces ready to be cut and stitched together. And if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you have any more questions about other things other than this that have to do with design space, any ideas for other videos you'd like to see, please let me know. I'd love to help. I love doing these videos. I think they're really fun and relaxing, and it's really nice to hear feedback from you guys when it actually helps and works out for you. So let me know how your projects are going, and let me know if there's anything else I can do to help. Alright, you guys, I'll see you later, and Happy New Year!